Alright, welcome to Raising Funds for World Domination, Day 65. Still no substantial updates on this other than on the 24th. I got a notification, confirmation of when the next hearing date will be. So the last L2 merits hearing, we got halfway through that. And before we called another witness, we ran out of time, so the next hearing will be October 6th. And other than that, we're going to continue on with working on the terminal block mining game. Oh yeah, and what I worked on today. Today, I got through almost all of the year-end accounting. So I balanced all the accounts, and then I have a couple other just kind of ad hoc purchases to go through and record those. So last night, I worked on some migration work. So I'm trying to add a new class type to, I want to migrate this data structure I have called cuboid address, just for something for keeping track of points in space or regions in space. And I realized there's a design flaw in that. I have like an off by one thing. And if I add one to the values that you pass into it, then I can make a lot of things more simple. So that's what I've been working on the last couple of days, or yesterday, and I haven't had time to return to that. So we'll take a look at that tonight. I think, MVN test, yeah. So we got some Blankety Bloop says, "Hey man, what are you even up to?" I am currently working on fixing some unit tests. So I'm trying to migrate away one of my data structures. And so I've added some, I basically just copied and pasted the data structure. And I'm going to try and, first I'm going to migrate the unit tests, get those working, and then I'm going to start migrating some of the code base. And I've been thinking, this looks cool, but no idea what's happening. Right now, I'm working on fixing some unit tests and doing some development work on my terminal-based video game. Oh yeah, so I'm working on the game, but also I'm raising funds for world domination on the side. Hopefully, I'm hoping to get, if I can get a $12 billion super chat. The plan is to start a brand new society up in the high Arctic, where there's lots of space to build houses. So here's the video game. I'm stuck in here. So it's a terminal. It's a game you play in the Linux terminal where you spam the M key to mine blocks. And so this is what I'm working on overall. And I'm currently working on fixing some unit tests. Keep it up. I can do 12 billion in Monopoly money. I guess that'll have to do for now until I get the real 12 billion. All right, let's continue on with working on some unit tests. That's genuinely sick. Excellent. I'm glad you think positively of it. Now I think what I'm going to do run those cuboid address intersection. All right, so I think I'll uncomment some of the tests on this. So a pretty good strategy I use for stuff like this, so that most of the fixes should be simple. I just have like some plus ones, minus ones to add. I think I'll try and just run, let all my debug statements get printed. And then I'll pipe them to a file, and then I can diff them. Because they're all random tests, but I have a seed value. Galactic Past 7285 says, hello Robert, how's it going? Nine and nine Imram says, hey man, how's everything going? Not too bad, just working on some unit tests. Got some accounting work done today. This is a pretty robust technique for debugging stuff. So what I can do is just I'll start going into some of the classes and then just like just start putting lots and lots of printf statements and put it in both code paths. And theoretically, I should be able to get them to output both the same addresses. Why are you running tests? What's this for? I'm currently trying to trying to introduce a new class to my project to start migrating away from an old class that has a design flaw in it. And that should make other parts of the code simpler. No, it's only Galactic Past. Not according to YouTube. What's the project? The project is my terminal-based block mining game. It's very nice. Hope everything's all right. Yeah, things are pretty good right now, all things considered. Yeah, so the project overall, I'll compile the game and run it. So here's what the game looks like. It's a terminal-based video game. You run in the Linux terminal. You wander around an infinite procedurally generated universe, and you spam the M key to mine blocks. And that's the game. What are we doing? I just explained it a few times. You can skip back a few minutes and put it on 2x speed. Now I just need to... so the whole point of this was... the whole point was to make these initialization values all incremented by 1 with the newer class. So that'll make it a bit confusing for printing here. This was on my YouTube FYP. YouTube thinks you like computer programming and terminal-based block mining games. I'm back, bro. Would you marry my daughter? Not enough information to answer that in the positive or negative. Why care about the tests, or just for good practice? I have this class let's see. So I have this class with all this like math code written in it for like calculating intersections and stuff like that. And so it's very easy to break, and I've been trying to migrate it. There's like some subtle +1s and modulos and all kinds of calculations that have to be correct. In the new class, I'm trying to create for the upper coordinate every value is going to be incremented by 1, so that I can represent zero-sized regions of space. Now, making that small change means I have to make sure all this old code works, and almost the entire application relies on this. So I made a separate migration, I just called it a new cuboid address class, and once I get that one working, then I can start migrating some of the older code. Lots of newer viewers today. Yes, lots of more questions than I expected. Monday left me broken. Tuesday. I mean, I forget the lyrics. Tuesday I was something. That meme was everywhere, and now it's nowhere. Try GPT for quick migration. I haven't tried it. I doubt it would work. Actually, it's on my to-do list. People keep asking me about AI code generation. The few times I've tried to use it, it's just I think it could be good for generating starter classes and things. Like if I say generate an event class that looks like this other class, it's done those things, simple things well. But when I ask it to migrate a lot of stuff, if I ask it something too complicated, it just doesn't do it right. I also have to update the unit tests as well. How will you dominate? The plan is start a new country, and then raise private equity funding, and then start buying countries, restructure the debt, put all the debt in one corporation and all the assets in another corporation, and then declare bankruptcy on the one with the debt. Then you get to keep all the assets. Then you get rich. Can you dominate me? That's not in. That's not my current objective. Gonna stay focused on the world domination. Can't get distracted with nonsense. Gotta dominate his landlord first. Yeah, I got lots of dominating to keep me busy for now. Can't wait for day 69. That's only 4 days away. Game Dev Chat says, good evening. How's it going? Today's day 69 was Canada Day. July 2nd we'll have to do. Yeah, it's some kind of holiday. There's a bunch of people outside lighting off fireworks just before I started the stream. plan on going back to big tech? Nope. I'm done with that. I think I'm too old too. You gotta get in while you're in your fresh out of university, so you can make the big bucks. Then as soon as you get old, I'm like, nope, we can't squeeze any more work out of this person. Look at compile errors. Any upcoming vids in the works? No, I've done absolutely zero video production in the last 65 days. I guess I started this series because the Renoviction was coming up, and I decided it would make sense to just do a bit of work on this game every day, just in case I get interrupted for stuff. And then I guess the hearing happened, and then I was already kind of on a roll with the working on this project, so I decided to get to the next release. That took about 30 days, and now it's also time to do taxes. So for the last, I think, 5 or 6 days, I've been working on taxes, and I probably will finish work on taxes tomorrow, and then my hope is next week. Well, actually, I've been working a little bit on some script stuff, but after that, I do have another video idea in the works. But yeah, I definitely gotta get more long form videos. So okay, this doesn't like that I'm adding a vector. World domination. Yep, that's the plan. What are you doing? I'm working on a terminal-based block mining game. Let me just check this diff first. Gotta figure out where my differences are coming from. So the game is, I'll compile it and run it here. So this here is the game. It's a terminal-based video game that you play in the Linux terminal, where you wander around an infinite procedurally generated universe and you spam the M key to mine blocks. And you can collect blocks of iron ore, and that's the basic game loop at the moment. And currently I'm working on fixing some bugs. It's weirdly, I would expect that to be exactly off by 1, but it's not. But it looks too close to be like a random seed value. extent. All right, the random number generators doing the same thing. Am I only incrementing the first? Why is it so weirdly wrong? All right, that is progress. That makes sense, I think, because I'm going to put in the 2 random coordinates. He was canonicalizing them. I forgot that it did that. Would debugging low-level programs in C be easier than higher-level programs? Like a full-stack website by C having less abstraction to worry about in debugging process? It really depends what the issue is that you're debugging. In some ways, C is simpler in that it's like closer to the hardware. Like on a or even like something like assembly. If you're debugging a problem in assembly, like a math problem or something, with assembly language, there's less like permutate. Like the assembly language maybe looks more cryptic, but if I say if I point to a random line of assembly code, the number of things that one line of code can do is way smaller than the average line of like Java. Because in Java, you could call like 10 million different types of functions. It could be nested function calls and all, who knows what that call does. Whereas in assembly, you can just like look up the really precise rules for what that instruction does. But with assembly or any lower level languages, I find the cognitive load is higher. So when you look at it, now you have to you're basically thinking in code. And for simple programs, I say it's simpler, but then when you get into stuff like mode switching and stuff, and when you have to when you're debugging like a context switch or something, you have to keep track of all these registers and stuff. I find it's the thing you're actually debugging, it might be a simple error, but after you're staring at hundreds of lines of assembly, after a while you're just forget. You have to rub your eyes and you're like, I can't remember what I was looking for. That's the type of thing that happens a lot for lower level stuff. All right, that's the new class. Let's add the same debug statements to the old one. And a few of these are going to be off by 1, but I'll have to think about that on a case-by-case basis and just compare what I think it should be. That's not what I expected. Oh, that's probably because I'm printing stuff in a place where I'm not supposed to be. So I'll ignore that. It's just not relevant. So we'll just capture the output for the good case and the bad case, and then we'll diff them and see where the output is different. This is a pretty good technique, a pretty good debugging technique for if you have like a very mathematical thing you're doing, where you can just like in a mathematical calculation in every sub-step, theoretically there should be some, the math should all work out the same. I'm not seeing the output that I thought that I would see. Okay, the first difference is here. So when in the good thing, it says it's outside the intersection for these points. And the bad one, over there, it does not have those statements. That's the new one. Now let's make sure I'm on the right one. So mine is missing this one. It's outside intersection A. So in my code, this does not happen. So that means which version? New. So the only place where the issue would be coming from is from this contains coordinate function. So there must be a bug in the contains, the new implementation of the contains coordinate function. All right. So the lower part should not be. Yeah, the A lower should definitely not. A lower should not be different. A upper should maybe be different. I guess this produced a lot of output. So my program just returned immediately because it said it was out of bounds. So it might be passing in the wrong coordinate. Must be producing sure if that's how many lines it's got. All right, that shows that it's not even in the region iteration. It's not even producing that. It's not even cycling through that point, which is indicated here. That's a bug. It's not supposed to be that way. That is surprising because I thought this too old keyword address that should just give the same old one, but maybe it's not. But it did. That doesn't make sense because it is up here. Maybe that function is wrong. Your average everything 60/40 says hi. How's it going? Hello. Loved your vid on how to make a CPU. Excellent. That's my most popular video. What does world domination look like for you? I guess it's just get all the resources. Once I have enough money to buy all the countries, then I can impose my own laws, fix all the problems, fix all the economies, end all the wars. What are you working on? I'm currently working on a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks. It runs in the Linux terminal. It's currently broke, so I can't compile it and run it. But I'm just working on fixing some unit tests. Alright, best of luck. Stop distracting you. Good luck. Thanks for the kind words. What are you working on? I'm currently working on some unit tests for a terminal-based block mining game. All right. That is not supposed to be that way. I guess that makes sense, maybe. football quit dash v7i. Remember me again. Maybe there's a number of people that asked me to remember them, and I forgot them. And also they changed the usernames, so everyone has like not their display name. I'm Hardik. How's it going? All right, that's progress. update the wrong one. I may have. Yep, I did. All right, that is progress. So now we've got a few hundred lines of identical output. But the intersection's wrong. So now the issue is in this function. So what exactly are you doing? Currently, the overall thing is I'm working on a terminal-based block mining game. The specific task I'm working on is I want to fix a design flaw in one of the fundamental classes of this project. I have like basically a off by one error in a class that represents regions of space. I want to fix that so I can represent zero-sized regions of space. And I'm currently updating the unit tests and trying to create like a temporary migration class so that I can start converting everything else in the project to use that, and then eventually delete the old one. So this would be where the current bug is. look like you're pretty good at coding. How many years it took for you to learn that? I started programming when I was 14. I'm currently 38. Worked at Amazon for a while. I have got an undergrad degree in software engineering. I mean, you could probably still criticize some of my practices. I'm really behind on the AI coding phase. I haven't really had time to play around with. It's on my to-do list to play around with that. As soon as I get done working on my taxes, and finish the next video idea I have, then I'll probably it's high up on my to-do list to actually try out some of these AI tools. That's not what I expected to see. So Robert in chat. It's pretty quiet this evening. I'm kind of ignoring chat a lot. I'm working on debugging an issue. Interesting. YouTube decided to change all the display handles, so I have to, like, it always throws me off when I see someone I've seen before. I gotta rememorize everyone's names. Seeing my own YouTube handle caught me off guard. Yeah, it's catching me. Everyone is like that. It doesn't show the. I don't know if it shows that locally on your chat as well, but it's just a random change that Google does. Tonight I'm working on migrating a fundamental data structure, and there's some like subtle off by one bugs in my new migrated class. So the plan is to I'm basically just gonna like do a copy and paste of the new test cases and new class, and then I'm going to like right here, I'm just taking the output from running the test case with the new class into a file in temp. So I have temp good, temp bad, and then I can just run vim-diff, vim-d, and so I can just basically just like diff the execution trace, so I can figure out step by step like where is the first deviation from where the program is different. Yeah, like here. So that looks like. So a couple of these are expected. So I gotta just figure out how to figure out the different math, like what's going to be like a greater than or equal to or whatever. Yeah, for certain, there's different kinds of debugging techniques that are. I guess what I'm doing is kind of can be slow and tedious, but it's like it's perfect and deterministic. So if you just keep going step by step, it's like a debugging process where you can totally turn your brain off. Like you don't need to. You don't need to be good at programming to look at this and ask and answer the question like, where does the program execution change? So up here, there's 14 lines that are the same. That's not a relevant difference. Just that's the part of the compile process. Here's where the program starts running. So the random number stuff is the same. And in the very first step, these numbers are different. And in the good version, it runs these 4 lines. And then over here in my version, it doesn't run them at all. And then in the good version, this your line and my line are the same. So it's just a puzzle of like change the code to make them identical. What are you building? Mining rig? Game? Yep, it's a terminal. It's a mining is in mining iron ore. Okay. That makes sense. So the max is off by 1, which is basically what I expect. So the whole point of this class, these changes, are to make this, to add 1 to this. So that's necessary to make it identical. But then the real key is to make the execution trace identical. So it looks like that probably returns immediately. So look, okay, the first one to check is I should probably do this. Actually, that's -1. All right, let's check. Make sure that compiles. I want to transfer you 10, what is that, 10,000? Tell me, what are your plans? So the plan is to start off with deriving some revenue with this block mining game, and then move to an uninhabited island in the high Arctic, start a new country up there, raise some funding from private equity firms, and then start buying up countries, restructure the assets, take all the assets of the company, put them in one corporation, and then take all the debts, put them in a different corporation, and then declare bankruptcy on the corporation with all the debt. And then you get to keep all the assets, and then use that to get another loan to buy more countries. And just keep doing that until you take over the world. And then once the world's been taken over, then I can fix the economy in every country and end all the wars. And then everything will be great. So here we go. This illustrates the usefulness of this method. So we get an execution trace here. And the correct solution is to go into case 2. And mine's going into case 3. Alright, so the problem was in here with these. This was the print. So the correct thing was to go into here, but mine was going into here. Hello, bro. How's it going? So a min greater than b max. Is that I am interested. Sorry, my English is very bad. This is a class in my video game that handles describing regions of space. It's like a geometry thing, and I'm currently trying to migrate this. I'm trying to fix a design flaw, and I'm going through and trying to migrate stuff and change test cases and so forth. Good, but it will be a bit hard because the banks are bond to the government. We'll just have to buy some governments. We'll just use private equity. And then we'll buy everything that we need. Start some lobbying groups. You explain in short. I'm new. So the thing I'm working on is a terminal-based video game where you simulate the process of mining blocks of iron ore. You can see some examples in previous streams if you click around enough. It doesn't compile at the moment. I'm currently working on fixing a design flaw in one of the fundamental classes in the program. check that output again. So according to this, a min is 1, minus 1. B max is minus 2. Okay, bro, nice to meet you. I'm a new subscriber. Excellent. So I guess that is correct. A min is greater than B max. Now in my program, B max is actually plus 1, so it's minus 1. So I think this has to be an equals. Greater than or equal to. Cool, just noticed I already watched your CPU video. Yep, that's a super popular one. Well, that ran for a lot longer, so that might be a really good sign. Do you have a Discord server? Yes, there actually is one. There's only a few people in it, so so if you go to like my channel, and there's like a list of links, and there's a like I guess click on like my channel handle or whatever, and then there's a list of like all, social media links. There's a link to a Discord, but the link is deliberately broken because it has the letter Z on the end of it is there on purpose to break the link, so bots will not join. But the official Discord is actually locked, but there's another one that's like actually maintained by another couple other people, and I just let them do what they want. But if you go there, there's a link to mine, and that'll give you a link to the other one. So you're into programming? Yep, I do lots of programming. I'm into Linux, and I also thought I would follow your stuff. Yeah, you can you can join my Discord. So my Discord, I have it locked, but if you go to that Discord, there's a link to the other Discord. So some people that started kind of like informal Discord, and it's a lot of work to maintain a Discord, so they really wanted to make one. So I was like, okay, I'll just let them. As long as there's nothing crazy there, then I said I'll give a link to it. But there are a bunch of people there that talk about Linux and DIY stuff, and so there's a difference here. I think actually the tests pass. Maybe, let me check. It's very slow with all the output. Yeah, I won't wait for that to finish. Let's see. So I think that difference might be due to the non-deterministic ordering of the sets. So if I replace those hash sets with tree sets, which I think they're deterministic. Let's try that again. See if that gets rid of the remaining difference. All right. There are still differences. All right, that got more of them. I think that's probably one remaining conversion that I missed. All right, that looks like it worked. So now all, wow, 200 2 million lines of output, all 2 million lines of output, and the execution trace are identical. So now I have much more confidence that the new version of the code works. So that completes one of the two test cases that I wanted to fix. Let's see, let's just test out the other one. Is that the one that I just ran? I can't remember. That one was called Address Intersection Unit Test. Yeah. The other test, the other problematic test, it was called Intersecting Chunk Set. Yeah, this was a gnarly one. This one is probably still failing. Okay, that's the old one. Now let's run the new one. a new one fails. So we can do the same process. This is the process of debugging some issues in my terminal-based video game, where you simulate the process of mining blocks. I'm currently working on I'm building a migration class for a temporary migration class to fix some design flaws in one of the fundamental classes in my program, which is a terminal-based video game. So here is the execution trace. That's not similar at all. Yeah, this is a problem. All right, let's see if that changes the output. Compilation error. Nice. Another compilation error. that's why. Jesus loves y'all. Excellent. I'm glad to know that. Hello there. How's it going? Just woke up and it's 7 a.m. A brand new day. It's currently 30 minutes past midnight here. going into learning about log manipulations on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. I guess it depends on what you mean by log manipulations. There's lots of different it depends on what you mean by manipulation specifically. But there's lots of places where logs are. There's syslog, journalctl. If you're on Red Hat, I would say especially SE Linux. So there's a bunch of I forgot them, but there's like SE Manage, and there's a pretty good talk on YouTube about, if you search for SE Linux. It was like an hour-long talk. It was like a very enterprisey lecture, and the guy talked at length about there's like 3 or 4 different SE Linux commands that I forget what they were, but that I've found were really good for like understanding policies, like looking for violations, generating the rules and stuff like that. Because in SE Linux, my understanding is when a policy violation, there's a way to like take a policy violation which would like show up in a log. Like the policy violations can be used to actually make the policy rules that can make that thing pass. So there was a close connection there. And there's like, actually I have 2 videos on the chcon command and the runcon command. There might be, well, they're both only 60 seconds. I'm actually not an expert. I've only learned those 2 SE Linux commands, and I learned enough about SE Linux to know how to actually run those 2 commands, and that's it. All right, that might have actually worked. Wow, that'd be awesome if it does. Wait, is it actually running the right function? I think that might be good. Yeah, I guess also, yes, syslog, journalctl. Of course, like, var/log, and just look at all the stuff there. Just to throw out like random logging stuff. I would say another one is on other systems that don't use SE Linux. App Armor is a good thing to check if you're trying to figure out like why stuff doesn't work. There can be like permission violations in there. And something tells me there was something. I thought there was another tool like syslog, some kind of competitor to it, like something about it was deprecated or was replaced by something, or it replaced something else. guess those things, and the d-message command. Sounds a lot like AWS Cloud Trails being used to generate policies for IAM roles. Yeah, I haven't used that specific feature, but in a way, it's like that method, like using the policy violation information to generate the way of granting that permission. It's like seems like a brain dead. It's like, why doesn't everything work that way? Because any other thing, you have to just like monitor log files and then decipher cryptic messages to figure out what to actually do. In a way, like when you on Linux, when you have a file permission problem, it's so difficult to figure out. Like it doesn't, like if you try to access a file, it says like permission denied. It doesn't tell you like give the following permission to this file. That can be a huge. There's been a couple times when one that trips me up is if you don't have. I think if you don't have read and execute permission on a folder, then you can't access the file in that folder, or you can't create new files. I can't remember which was at the moment. But that's like if it just told you like you can't do this because you need to give this permission on the folder. People usually think about the permission on just the file. Journal CTL is replacing RSS log. Yeah, I guess maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe the other one was oh, what was it? There was I guess not quite logging, but it could be like considered close to logging. Is like there was there's a way to when you have systemd events, there's a way to like, there's a command you can run and it prints out like verbose information about UDEV events. And if you so I have a video on printing on Linux, and there's a blog post there, and I'm pretty sure it's in that blog post about debugging printers on Linux. There's a command there about how to listen for, I think it's UDEV events. And that's something that's probably, like there's probably some information in the logs in like kernel.log, but it doesn't have the exact same format. There's some very, very special command for that. I mean, var log, honor.log. I'm not sure. I'm not super familiar with audit.log, but anyway, that's about the extent of my my brain dump on logging. I think I'll probably leave it there for tonight. I accomplished what I wanted. I fixed these two unit tests, or at least I got them to pass. So with any luck, my new data structure should actually work, and I might even be able to use the old one as a wrapper. So I can make a cuboid address just contain the new cuboid address. But anyway, I'll probably leave it there for tonight. And I'll be back I guess I have to be back tomorrow for day 66. All right, talk to you then, guys.